Hello.
Beetles.
And welcome to a very jury-rigged Wheel Takes.
Unhinged version.
Recorded on a phone in a hotel room. A podcast about the Wheel of Time, a series of fantasy novels written by Robert Jordan and completed by Brandon Sanderson. My name is Gus. I've read all of them.
And I'm Allie, and we're traveling for a wedding, and could not bring our equipment with us because that would be really dumb.
Yeah, because last time we brought our equipment to this particular state, they took half of it.
They took it.
Airport security. So we'll see how this pans out.
So this is the most janky version of Wheel Takes
Ever. Probably since the first episode when we recorded in a bathroom.
And I think what will be great about it is that it will be maybe the most unhinged we've ever been.
It's very, very possible. This podcast only contains spoilers for what Allie's already read. And again, today, I haven't said it yet, that's everything up to, and whatever. Knife of Dreams, Chapter 12.
Yeah.
I'm Gus, I've read all of them.
And I'm Allie, and I'm on that book.
Yeah.
And I've never read them before.
No. Hello.
Now I am. Wow, we're crushing it already.
We're gonna jump right in and do the patron thanks ahead of everything else. We got 5 patrons for you today.
Woo!
And, they're great. So, hey, thanks for the pint, Longstrider.
Longstrider, just like a genteel.
Also, the air conditioner is totally going to kick on and off. I don't know if I can cut it out.
Just like a genteel air conditioner.
Yeah.
You are cool. Just one of those people where you walk in and people go, wow, what a cool guy or gal or non-binary folk. You are also the wind in our sails when we succeed or when we fail. Someone who is there for us no matter what. And that kind of loyalty, as people are talking about in the Grinwald Cup, currently on day 2 right now, is hot and amazing. Unlike, your cool exterior. And also, you are so necessary to those of us whose bodies can't handle anything that isn't 70 degrees.
Yes.
You are somebody who is just needed in every social situation. You're just someone that we can count on to bring the good times and who will help us clean up afterward. And for that, we thank you. Thanks for being a part of this community.
Thanks for the high five, Paul R.
Paul R., just like a amicable closet. You are full of precious memories.
If we were thinking, we'd be recording in the closet here, but it would be very crowded, and that sounds terrible.
It would be terrible.
Yeah.
We have never tiffed more than sitting in that closet and having that doorknob in one of our backs, and also how hot it used to get. Do you remember that?
Yes, but speaking of backs, back to you, Paul.
That was a good one.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was.
All right.
I will not hear of anything but that was wonderful. Closet. You're full of precious memories. You're somebody who treasures the good times and knows to appreciate even the smallest thing. You're also cozy. Maybe sometimes a little too cozy if it was Gus in my closet. But you're cozy. I always feel like I walk into a closet.
Do you walk into a lot of closets?
Well, some people have closets that you can walk in.
Sure.
Or open a closet.
Okay, yeah.
I always feel like I open a closet and I'm kind of comforted by how quiet everything is, the clothing.
Yeah, I get that.
Do you know what I mean? So you're comforting. And you're also eclectic. Lots of stuff goes in a closet. Some people have a doom closet that is never opened. It's not us, obviously. We are way more organized and put together than that.
Sure.
We definitely have our shit together.
Sure.
We're not faking this adulthood thing at all.
Sure.
And neither are you, Paul. Good for you. Good job being a good adult. And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being a part of this community.
Thanks for the high five, Shiraguma.
Shiraguma, just like a happy. I don't think I've done happy. I don't know. It's been several years, so maybe. But I haven't in a minute. So happy go lucky. Happy go lucky. Raspberry. You got a little kick to you. You're sassy. But it's always in a way that like isn't harmful. Do you know what I mean? You'll joke around with people and stuff, but you never take the joke too far. You know how to mess with people in a way that's still fun and not mean. And you are vibrant. You know, I feel like raspberries really stand out on the shelf.
Yeah, I buy that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're vibrant. You are magnetic. And you are, of course, sweet underneath that tangy exterior. And also, you're very wonderful. For that, we thank you. Thanks for being a part of this community.
Thanks for the cup of coffee, Lindsay F.
Lindsay F, just like a can-do soccer goal.
All right.
Yeah, why not? You are well-defined. You know your limits. You know your boundaries. You know what you need to be doing at any given time. Though I was always put in the goal when I played soccer when I was a little kid, which for those of you who are overseas friends is football to you. Why we call it soccer and football, American football makes no fucking sense. Don't even get me started. And why we decided to dare to be different in this particular issue, no idea. Makes no goddamn sense, but whatever. So soccer goal. I feel like I was put in the goal because I was like the distracted kid.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like I was the ADHD kid who was like, I would rather literally be anywhere else. And I was just picking flowers in the goal while things sailed past me.
Sounds
Except
good.
for one time, my dad tells this story. One time, he told me and my sister that if we both scored a goal in soccer on our respective games, because we had back-to-back games, that he would take us to Toys R Us to buy a toy.
I think you've told this story before.
Have I told this story before?
I'm not sure.
It maybe I have. But I was able to make a save that was so good that I earned my end of the bargain. And because I was fully horizontal, grazed off my fingertips. Dad said it was one of the most exciting things he's ever seen in children's soccer, which if you've ever seen children's soccer, it's not that exciting. So it was pretty great. But so just like that, you're someone who can make miracles happen because you can get a kid who would rather be anywhere else to make a fully horizontal David Beckham-esque save. Now, David Beckham is not a goalie. I understand. I could not name a single soccer goalie. Could not name one. But so, yeah. And you also are a net. There
appears to be some sort of parade happening
whatever.
Anyway.
I was about to make a good pun.
Yeah, please continue. A net.
Okay, a net positive for the world around you.
Beautiful.
And for that, we thank you, and thanks for being a part of this community.
And that is loud.
I kind of like it, though.
But certainly not least, thanks for the pint, Jonathan W.
Jonathan W., just like a wickedly handsome white button down, specifically white. You're classic. You're somebody who just like can snazz up a place with very little effort. You are somebody who is classy, presents yourself very well. You're cute as a button. Get it?
Yeah.
Those buttons.
Yeah.
And you are cut from a great cloth. And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being a part of this community.
So thanks, y'all. Y'all are great. Podcast still free, but you're all very kind.
Don't tell them that. It's so expensive. No, I'm just kidding.
Allie.
What?
Are we doing it? Are we going to Genji?
No. Okay, this is, I'm going to count, like, you know how those people do on Twitter where they're like, day whatever of
us
not hearing about
shout out to Default Rand, yes.
Finger nude. I am starting that here. Day one of us not going to save Moiraine. Where is the saving of Moiraine? Where is it? Where is it? Gus, where is it?
Well, either they do or they don't.
I am embittered.
It may or may not happen.
I am mad. Why did Matt not hear that my woman was in danger and immediately spring into action? Why are we gambling with Tuon in a fake hell?
Because she wanted to go to Patty's
I'm in
pub.
hell.
She wanted to go to a dive bar.
Baby's first dive bar.
Baby's first dive bar.
I'm just kind of like,
what this chapter was.
I know there's an income disparity.
Because she's
But
the
baby girling of Tuon must cease.
She's a hardened...
the baby girling of Tuon, the slaver, must cease.
She's a hardened, intense, hang all the prisoners, next level cutthroat, but also she doesn't know what beer is. Which is fair. That is not unrealistic.
I mean, why would she go to a dive bar when she has no need to? Plus,
Certainly.
she's probably feared for her life, her whole life.
But apparently isn't fearful for her life. She's like, yeah, people might try to kill me. I accept this as part of my day-to-day.
This happens on occasion.
Yeah, this happens regularly.
Yeah,
Like, towards the end of this chapter, she's like, oh, there's an army out to get me. I bet it's one on.
Oh, and we get her name.
I forgot what it was.
It's like, starts with
an
Camille?
R. No, that's a different person.
No, I swear to God, it starts with a C.
It's R. It's an R. There is a different person whose name starts with a C.
Disagreeing with you now?
I read it after you.
I'm about to fight you.
Okay, well, we'll see how you feel when we get to the name.
Now, granted, I did read that passage in a restaurant, but I'm pretty sure it started with a C-A-M.
That's a different person.
Who is that?
I don't remember.
Oh, you don't remember?
I just know it was a different person.
Maybe because it was one on. Guess?
I think it was another important Sean Chan. It was like Camille. It looked like Camille.
Because she starts speculating about which sister might be out to kill her.
Ravashi or Chimal. Ravashi
Camille
is the older one.
But
Ravashi is the older sister to Tuon.
But she said that Kamal was the one who was like, I should be...
No, she said Ravashi was the one who was like, I'm older. Because Tuon is her second daughter. Chimal is her younger sister, but she's only 14.
No, Arana is only 14.
No, because she suspects Ravashi or Chim... Oh, you're right.
Arana is
you're right. Okay.
Yeah. I thought she said about Chimal that Chimal was like...
C. It looked like...
There was one that looked like Cameron.
Camilla. Not Camilla. Camilla. Chafail.
But there was also a Cameron.
My phone might buzz. If that's coming through, I apologize. Let me put this on absolutely silent. Like
we're doing our best.
Like I'm not a total pleb. All right. A scrub, I should say.
I don't want no
total scrub. All right. So, Allie, we're going to pick it up here with chapter 11.
You're killing it.
Do you? I forgot. I gotta get my book. I don't even have the book. I have the ebook.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm reading Stonewielder right now.
Unprofessional. Imagine a world in which...
I have the ebook.
You would not have something pulled up and ready to go.
I pulled your notes up.
And appalled at your lack of professionalism.
Oh, my God. As we record off of our phones.
Shit. Yeah, I know. This is going to be maybe the worst episode we've ever done.
Going to be...
But you know what?
The quality gets worse as we go on.
The quality of what?
Of us as people.
That is not
I'm joking.
true.
I'm joking.
That is not true.
I'm kidding.
Sometimes life happens and we have to do things like this. And you know what I say? I say that if we have to be, like the quality of the audio has to go down, then we have to be
we have to totally lose
absolutely weird
complete mess.
Yeah. It just has to be like the messiest episode we've ever had.
Allie, chapter 11.
Lean in is what I say.
A hell in Madarin.
I actually wrote a book about how women need to lean in.
You wrote a book about it?
No, someone else did.
Oh, yeah.
Could you imagine?
This is the chapter logo. What's this?
It's dice.
Do you have notes?
I do.
For chapter 11, a hell in Madarin.
Hold on, really quickly.
Oh, yes, I'll pause. We're no longer paused. A hell in Madarin. Allie, do you have notes? For chapter 11, the gang goes to a hell in Madarin.
Like Always Sunny.
While she's pulling up her notes.
Well, I have them pulled up.
Why am I singing?
I'm just letting...
Well, no. Oh, my God.
I was happy for you. You seemed like you were really in your element. I'm so happy for everyone that they got to experience that.
I have.
All of us got to experience that together.
Regrets. All right.
I have no regrets on that. Please don't apologize. Oh, so, yeah, this caravan and I are not the same, because if I saw a man melt into the earth, I'd immediately text everyone I knew. So by the time they were like, hey, don't tell anyone about this.
They just don't want to think about it.
I'd be like, everyone I know knows about this. And probably I podcasted about it too while it happened. Because I'd be so, like, everyone would need to know. Anyway, I am rankled by the idea of a woman needing a man's permission to do anything. Because, like, Tuon needs Matt's permission to go to a hell.
Right.
And listen, before the keyboard typing starts, okay? Yes, I know technically, whatever. All right? I know. Mm-hmm. I get it. It's just when I just have not seen many men needing permission from women to do stuff.
Yeah.
All right, now I hear the keyboards again.
Look.
Now listen.
Yes, I understand why Tuon specifically needs his permission to go to a dive bar.
Yes, I understand. Whatever.
And
I understand also that,
stuff.
like Moiraine, whatever. But there's something about it that rankles. Anyway, I'm rankled. I'm not mad at Robert. I still hear clacking of keyboards. Stop typing. I swear to God. No, I'm just kidding. You can type if you want to. I'll just yell at you. No, I won't. I'm not mean. Much. I'm not mean. I try not to be anyway. I'm really working on it. Anyway, so you think... this is from Tuon's perspective. So you think I'm pretty?
Yeah, this whole thing.
Because he's like, you'd start a bunch of fights, and then she like acts all pleased, and he's like, does she want fights to happen?
She does.
She does.
Actively.
But I also think that she's like, you think I'm pretty?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, yay, Tom's here. Fuck the hell's plotline. We're going to rescue Moiraine, right?
No.
Right, Robert?
We're actually not even going to talk about that this chapter. Not a word.
Like, Tom's just sitting there, and I'm like, if it were me, where is Perrin's energy in Tom right now?
Surely.
You know what? If we're picking, Perrin won't even let a man spewing beetles out of his mouth stop his attention on his wife.
Beetle Boy is unironically one of my favorite things in the entire series.
Now, here's the thing.
Because it is so ridiculous and weird, and Perrin's response solidifies him as an absolute god of himbos.
And as, honestly, someone who has never spoken poorly about Perrin in my life, I... honestly, at this point, when compared to Tom's energy about saving Moiraine, I'm like, if we had to pick, I know that Perrin's plotline has been mind-numbingly dull. No offense. But it has.
Unless you're my father. Shout out to Greybeard. I am glad that you're enjoying it.
I feel like your dad would enjoy that.
He did. He loves it. He's like, every time Perrin shows up, I'm happy. I'm like, that is really wonderful for you.
That is so great for you.
I am genuinely really happy.
No, genuinely great. And I'm so happy for everyone who loves the Perrin plotline. I just need a little more action.
Yes.
And a little less randomly deciding to freeze in the snow.
Yes.
And a little less Barrelane for me.
Yes.
Or Barrelane being a completely different person.
Barrelane going back to how she was after the Stone of Tyr and before Demise Wells.
Before she overheard Perrin and Fael and decided Perrin was the only man who
could
knew
make
how to
a woman
do that
come.
stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Because if we're picking, right, Perrin's energy is exactly what I need if I've gone missing.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
God,
that is what I would expect and want from not just you, everyone around me.
Beetle Boy,
if my disappearance is not
and he goes,
the forefront of your
it's good.
like
you can step on
mind, if it is not like literally like a manhunt for me, I would be pissed. Yeah. I would be a little mad. You know, I would be also, though, because I'm full of contradictions, so embarrassed.
Sure, I get that.
It would be both.
I get that.
Like, I would need that energy, but then after, when I got rescued, I'd be like, you really didn't have to do all that. Like, for me, it's so embarrassing. You know what I mean?
I understand.
I'm so weird. Good luck being married to me, honestly. I'm so full of contradictions, but at least I'm aware of that. So, yeah. Tom literally hearing them debate whether Tuon can go cosplay as poor while our woman is in danger. I just can't. Perrin will not be deterred by man being eaten from within by beetles.
Turning into beetles,
Turning into the most beetles.
Like 7,000 beetles.
Like, how many beetles do you have to see before you're unsettled in one space?
In a space or coming out of a person?
Quadruple it.
Yeah.
And that's that man.
I would be unsettled if I saw 3 beetles indoors.
I don't think this man was 12 beetles. I think it was like 1,000 beetles.
This man was enough beetles to deflate.
How many beetles makes up a person?
I'd have to know what kind of beetle it was, because if it's a ladybug, that's one thing.
Apparently it was a beetle that was harmless and you could step on.
A borer beetle.
A borer?
Yes.
How big is a borer?
I don't know if that's a real beetle or if Robert Jordan did that thing again where he just took a real thing and then changed its name.
Okay, there are wood-boring beetles.
Oh, okay. How big are they?
Oh, they're creepy.
Oh, I hate that.
I don't like them. How big are they? Let's see. How big?
They're probably pretty big.
This podcast is brought to you always by Google.
That's true.
Beetles. Okay. They're
about a quarter
an
inch
to a quarter of an inch.
Holy shit.
How many inches?
No. Now we're going to have to get into three-dimensional geometry.
A person.
Well, assume the average person, the average adult male, I don't know, 5'8", probably?
Sure.
This is all about penises, is what the Quora results. You look up how many inches is a person, and all you're going to get is dicks. It's the internet. So let's assume the average person is. I'm gonna convert the average human being into a cylinder. Just
Someone do the math for us. How many beetles?
I can't use my phone because my phone is being used to record. But let's say the average person is 5'8", which is 68 inches, and let's say the average, like across various parts of the body, circumference of a person. This has nothing to do with waist size or fitness or anything like that, so don't read it that way. But let's just say the average. Let's convert a person into a cylinder that is 68 inches high and 26 inches in circumference, which includes, like the parts like the neck and the parts like the hips and all that.
Okay.
So 26 inches circumference and 68-inch height. And so if we have a 28-inch circumference, then the diameter of that circle is 28 over pi, right? So the radius...
at this point, this is not math.
The radius of the circle, of a wedge of the cylinder, would be 14 over pi. Okay, is that right? Because the circumference is pi times the diameter of a circle.
I can hear them typing.
So the radius of this person, of a cross-section of this person, would be 14 over pi inches, 14 divided by pi, which means that the area of a person would be pi r squared.
We are good at such different things. This is so fun for me.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm glad I did this to you. And I'm glad I'm not taking responsibility for trying to figure it out.
I think I'm doing this wrong. But then the radius would be pi times 14 over pi squared. 14 over pi...
I need someone to come up with an app that will tell me if I enter my measurements, how many beetles I would be.
I have to use my calculator. Hang on.
Well, you can use mine.
14 divided by pi.
We're not even at the beetle section yet.
Squared. Okay. 19, times pi. Okay, so the area of one cross-section circle would be 62.4.
Beetles?
No, that's the square inch radius.
Okay, I was
if
we've
not converted
this
human
beetles
being into a cylinder,
as I
62.4 square inches times the height, which I said was 68, right? Because it's pi r squared height. Okay, so 4,242 cubic inches.
Okay.
And we said a beetle was about a quarter of an inch, but that's just length.
So many beetles.
No, that's just length. And let's
gotta go with
let's estimate here that to get a square quarter inch of beetles, you would need 4 beetles.
Okay.
I'm just gonna make that estimate.
I love that we're doing this right now.
So a square quarter inch of beetles is 4 beetles, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh shit. Okay, so a square quarter inch into a cubic. Sorry, that was a cubic quarter inch. How many cubic quarter inches are there in a cubic inch? I'm trying to do this out of calculator. It'd be 16 to a. No, wait. 4 to a side.
We need a
4 to a side. So it's 16 times 4. So it's 4 cubed. Yeah. Okay. So that's 64. So it'd be 64 cubic quarter inches to a cubic inch. So then that's 64 times 4 is 128 times 2 is 256. No. Yes. 256. 256 beetles. That seems high. No, I don't know.
256 beetles total?
In a square inch. In a cubic inch.
Okay.
So 256, 1,086,063 beetles.
That's how many beetles came out of this person?
That's my estimation. If the beetle is a quarter inch, and we're saying 4 beetles to a cubic quarter inch, it'd be 1,086,863 beetles.
Well, no wonder everyone's fucking losing their shit.
Now, I generalized heavily here.
Now, here's the thing. We just interrupted so many people's work days because they all stopped. Tell us if we interrupted your work day with this.
And I hope...
Because they all wanted to check that
If my math is wrong, don't tell me. I don't care.
Tell me. I would love to know. Because
Actually, do tell me.
I want definitively
I'm
to
deadly
know
curious.
how many beetles fits in an average person.
A quarter inch, 4, and then 4... Yeah.
Like, how many beetles came out of this man?
I think it's
I did not think 1 million.
I think it's approximately... Well, if we're going with a beetle being, like, apparently a quarter inch by an eighth of an inch by an eighth of an inch.
This specific wood-boring beetle is...
Then it's about 1 million beetles.
Wow. So, imagine we're just standing here right now, and a fucking million beetles are in here.
Yeah.
I'd lose... I think I'd go insane.
Yeah. Anyway...
And so the fact that happened, that a million beetles appeared in front of Perrin out of a human body... This person vomited up 1 million beetles.
Now, to be clear, I got the 28 inches just completely at random.
Now, listen.
I'm estimating, like...
At the same time, the science, we have no idea.
Yeah, based on, like, your neck is going to be smaller, your legs are going to be smaller, your hips are going to be wider, your torso is going to be wider, so I just completely randomly estimated.
Well, to be fair to you, you're lying in bed with a single calculator. You did not write anything down.
No.
That was wild.
It was mostly in my head. I just had to look up... the little bit when it got... I didn't want to have to use pi. I didn't want to have to do, like, this many...
Once you started talking in pi, I was fucking out. Like,
this many pi beetles. I didn't want to do that.
This many pi beetles.
Pi beetles. On that note, we're going to take an ad break. Welcome back to Beetle Takes.
Beetle Takes.
You were in the mid-notes.
I was.
We are not even on the Beetle chapter yet.
But I'm really happy we stopped and did that because, you know what, I needed to know how many beetles that was. And the fact that Perrin, on top of that, was like 1 million beetles just appeared out of a human body. I'm still thinking about my wife, though. That's goals, honestly. I want my husband to be that obsessed with me. That obsessed with me. Okay?
I probably should have made the cylinder size, the diameter bigger. I probably should have made the diameter of like an average cylinder, like 30-something. But I'm
impressed with you regardless. So I just want a general idea of like how many beetles would fit
between 750,000 and 1.5 million beetles, if we're assuming like an average-sized person.
See, I was thinking like 4,000 beetles.
Oh, God,
that's actually crazy.
Oh, God, no. That's
1 million fucking beetles.
That's 1,000 cubic...
That's so many beetles.
That's 1,000 cubic quarter inches.
No, listen, I was thinking these beetles were like more roach-sized.
Yeah, I was too, but if we're going off of your measure... Obviously, this changes if we...
This changes
we
everything.
Can't keep doing this. We have to go back to the wheel of time.
Stay... This is the entire episode. It's going to be...
It might be, and I wouldn't listen. These are...
You wouldn't listen?
I was saying I wouldn't listen, I'm interrupting myself. Here's the thing. I'll be very honest with you. With you listeners, I already told Allie this. When I think back on my first read of Knife of Dreams and I get to the chapter A Hell in Madeirin, A Hell in Madeirin was probably the chapter I cared the least about my first time through. And if it's your favorite chapter, I'm really happy for you. That's great. But for me, I read it and I was like, why? What's happening?
I've thought about it some more, and just to be contradictory, this is the most important chapter I've ever read.
Great. I'm really glad. It is a good chapter when I stop and think about it.
Here's the thing, guys. When we're thinking about... This is a relationship chapter, not a plot chapter.
Yeah.
And he put in some, like, elements of plot, right, to keep it interesting.
At the end, especially, to kill them, right? Yeah.
And, like, we're getting a little bit of a reveal on Tuon's, character and upbringing and Seleucia and, like, kind of what Seleucia's job is with Tuon.
Which is cool. I love Seleucia.
Her protection, right? She's cool. I like her a lot. I don't know why I put a little Ch on it, but Seleucia kind of sounds cool.
It does.
But my other thing is, I think this is a, like, why they start falling in love chapter.
It absolutely is.
That, to me, I'm like, romance beats are popping here.
Yes.
Like, it's I misunderstood you. I get a chance to show you my skills.
I understand a little bit more about you.
Yeah, and I get to see...
There's an enemies to lovers moment there.
Yeah,
right?
And there's a, I saved your life moment, which, hey, I'm a big fan of woman saves man.
100%.
Big fan. A little Matt being like, I promise I'd never kill another woman.
Yes.
I cannot believe I'm advocating for killing women on this podcast.
Well, here's the thing. When it was isolated to Rand, it was a lot easier to write it off as, oh, it's a character quirk.
And listen, before the keyboards start going, once again, I know that this is a reflection of Robert Jordan's specific war trauma.
Yeah.
And I know that this is also Robert Jordan being a Southern white dude. Like, I understand the context behind all this. But if a woman is coming at you, going to stab you, I think you're allowed to stab her back.
I feel like it's justified in that case, yeah.
Like, only in that instance are you allowed to stab a woman or anyone, to be clear. Or if they are trying to stab someone you like.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm sorry. If I don't think that if a woman was going for Fael, I don't think Perrin would hesitate to fucking kill her.
No, I don't think he would, no.
I don't think he'd hesitate. I don't think if Savannah got in the way of Perrin getting his wife back.
Decapitated.
And I get that this is also Matt defending himself, not like Tuon. But yeah, I think this chapter was meant as a, like, can you feel the love tonight beginning?
Yes.
I don't, because I don't like Tuon.
Yes.
Because I don't like slavers, and I'm going to stand by that. I see a path, though, if she starts to reflect. I could see a path, because I can tell that some wheels are churning in her brain. And I'm like, if they're the right wheels that started churning, I'm open to the idea of liking Tuon. Because I do think there are likable qualities in Tuon.
Yeah. Well, and again...
We contain
saying,
multitudes.
You're also not saying she has to be a redeemable, like redeemed.
I don't want her. I don't want her perfect.
No,
I don't care if she's perfect. I just don't want her enslaving people.
And you don't want her marrying Matt.
I'd be open to her marrying Matt if she stops enslaving people.
I feel like we've gone over this before,
or at least there's a reasonable path toward, like Aegyanan.
Yeah,
I would be open to Aegyanan marrying Matt.
Yeah,
I like Aegyanan.
Yeah.
Aegyanan comes from a complicated place. I can respect the deconstruction. Totally. 100%. Some of the best people I know come from the most fucked up backgrounds.
Yeah.
Right? And they've done the work on themselves, and that is commendable and respectable. And I think that we, as a culture, need to hold space for growth in people.
Not to interrupt. I do feel like we talked about this specifically for about 25 minutes last episode.
I don't care, because it's worth talking about again.
All right.
Because I have a point to make.
Okay.
I have a point to make.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we were clear.
But I have a point to make.
Please continue.
But now I don't remember the point.
You were talking about Leolwyn and Tuon and
no, but the purpose of this chapter, right?
Yes.
The purpose of this chapter, I think, is make us see a path to Matt and Tuon being more than just fated.
I buy that, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Being more than just obligatory spouses.
We're going to get married because prophecy.
There's a significant kind of like, oh, okay, I see you. I see what this could be moment, I think, for at least Tuon.
Yeah.
Like Tuon seeing Matt, not just the luck stuff, but the way that he's handling the politics of the luck stuff.
Yes.
I think impressed her.
And that he throws himself in front of a bunch of brigands for her is nice.
Is nice.
Yes.
Well, okay, here's the thing.
It was nice. It was cool.
Here's the thing. Regardless of the gender, right?
Yes.
Regardless of the gender thing, which of course is always a consideration. It is nice to see somebody willing to put their life on the line.
Absolutely.
For you. Willing to step in front of you. If you are in a partnership, right? You don't want somebody that's going to push you down so that they can get away.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it just, there is an ick to the idea of somebody not being willing to go into the fray. And I think that's probably true for men too. Like if somebody fucks with you, I am bulldogish.
Yeah, I get it.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and I think it's nice that she saw that he was willing to put himself on the line for her, and he saw that she's willing to put himself on the line for him.
Yeah.
I thought that was a nice exchange.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought that was nice. I actually thought that subverted the thing that annoys me.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I liked all of that. I did not like the fact that we did not go to get Moiraine immediately.
That's probably where I was most frustrated.
I think that's why.
In hindsight, I was like, wait, no. I care about this. We just reintroduced this. Can we do this?
I have become a this chapter defender, actually. I think the unfortunate thing is the placement of the
placement is
chapter.
really...
I liked the chapter. I thought interesting things happened. I thought we saw some interesting development and relationship development between the characters. I don't like Tuon because she has not done the work to me yet. So I don't think she deserves Matrim Cawthon as much as I have had I've never spoken poorly about Matt Coffin ever
Or any character in this book.
But like when it comes to like these are my friends and people I care about at this point. They're like little siblings to me where I'm like, you make unfortunate decisions that I have to roast you for. But like I would also like go to the mat for you. And my thing about this is I would go to the mat for Matt and I would not go to the mat for Tuon. No.
What
she has not earned it.
So, do you have more notes?
I do.
Okay.
But I'm also just imagining Tom's perspective where he's like, can we go, like, take care of this, though?
Yeah.
Watching them.
I've been pulling this letter out for months.
And I finally get you to even ask me about it. And then we're just going to sit here with this information. I don't think that Matt's being a very good friend right now. And that's what I will say.
Sure.
Yeah. The attitude toward the Shan-Chan as whatever, you know, everybody being like, I mean, unless your daughter was taken, I mean, no one really cares. I'm like, it makes me want to scream my throat into outer space is what I wrote.
I agree with you. It is unfortunately very realistic.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, okay, here's the thing though. Yes, but also, I don't know. Like,
I was talking about this in...
Universally, like there's nobody on TikTok with a think piece about it where everyone's starting to kind of feel the same way.
I was talking about this with... Well, they don't have TikTok.
Well,
right?
Okay, but I have a hard time imagining that they all don't at least maybe know somebody.
Yes, however, I was talking about this...
Like if my neighbor's daughter got taken, I'd still be pissed.
I was talking about this with respect to Malazan, which is a series that deals with a lot of regime change and how regime change affects people. And I think it is realistic that a significant quantity of people would come out of a destabilizing regime change unscathed and go, shit, don't want to do that again. Unfortunately. Now...
That does not, though, equate with we're cool with what's happening.
I agree with you. Yeah, no, yes. I am also frustrated, but I think it's not unrealistic.
Listen, I get that it's realistic that like if it's not happening to you, you kind of and like shit's really been going down, you kind of count your blessings and maybe look out for number one.
Yeah.
I know that there are people like that in the world, but I just have a hard time imagining that there would be universal coolness with it.
That's real.
Except for...
No, that's super real.
Like human beings are just not a monolith. And yeah, there are like plenty of people that are just out for number one and whatever. But like, I don't know, my neighbor's daughter gets taken, I'd still be pissed off.
I agree with you. Yeah, no, it's bad. Like, I am surprised that it's this, oh, well, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there's a statement being made here, but I guess there is the optimist, like, part of me that does feel that like we have had plenty of examples though of when injustice happens and it's not to us that people still come together.
100% agree with you.
Be like, this is bullshit.
This is wrong. Yeah.
We also have plenty of examples of this.
Yes.
So it's like, it's complicated to me. And I'm like, but I know that he's doing this purposefully. I just am like, it makes me not mad at the writer. I feel like I always have to be very careful about that. I'm not mad at Robert for putting this here. I am mad at the people.
Somebody pointed out recently that when we are criticizing, we call him Robert, and when we are praising, we call him Jim. And they posited that we have created a world where James Oliver Rigney is this compassionate and talented and brilliant author, and then occasionally he gets like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by some occasionally more frustrating instincts and turns into Robert.
I feel like that is actually really true.
Really clever.
I feel like that's actually really true.
Which isn't to say we don't love Robert Jordan.
Please.
We're messing with you.
Yeah.
We're messing.
Do
you have more notes? Because we're 42 minutes in, and I thought this was going to be short. It never is, and that's okay. And I'm not complaining. I just think it's always funny.
This pink ribbons shit again.
Oh, yeah. This is another thing I'm not rooting for Tuon and Matt, because she's like, remember when you were getting assaulted on the reg?
Yeah, she's not making me like her, and she's not doing the work for me that is necessary for me to flip my vote. So Robert Jordan imprinted on one fucking Victoria's Secret ad, though.
Yes.
With these pink ribbons. Nice try, Robert. I'm not overlooking the slavery just because Tuon's not like other girls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The baby girling of Tuon will cease immediately.
There is a certain amount of baby girling of Tuon in this chapter.
A certain amount.
A lot.
It's the theme of the whole chapter.
It kind of, yeah.
Except for the end where she kills that lady, which I was kind of like, all right, more of this, less of the slavery and the pink ribbon shit.
What was it you put it? She's going to slip into the couch cushions. You have a note about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll get there. I stand the golem, honestly, considering he murdered Tylan.
Absolute
I'm kind
ledge.
of okay with him.
Yes.
To be honest. I think we should hear him out. Have we met him?
Yes.
But, like, have we had a chat?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we have.
Yeah.
All right, so he's not great, but, like, you know what? He did one great thing once. And for some people, that's enough. Now, she's a tiny... Oh, this is my thing. So, Tuon, there's this thing... This comes from the fact that I've been reading a lot of fantasy lately, and there's this unfortunate trend with describing women, especially female protagonists or love interests, where it's like, she's so little and small and dainty and fragile, but like also can like shoot a bow and arrow straight into your eyeball. But
And
she's
she can
so
suplex a
weak.
bear.
Like, yeah, she's all of 4'11" and like weighs as much as a feather. And I just like, I know that this is no disrespect at all to the women out there who are naturally very thin. Like, you are beautiful and wonderful, and we value you and we love you. But there is something to me about the consistency of women being described that way that just starts to feel insidious.
I get it.
And I'm just like, why are we doing this? Like, can we not have one muscular gal or one full-figured woman? Like, what is going on?
See, there are a lot of things I think you would like about Malazan.
And I know we have, I hear the clicking. Before we have anyone's come in and say, Robert Jordan has women who are full-figured and who are muscular and da-da-da-da-da. I know. It's only my frustration at the fact that, like, it keeps happening.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just like, we need to get better, more, like, thoughtful about how we are describing thin women. I just, because, like, I'm not saying don't write thin women. I'm just like, it's always the same. It's like they're like a little doll. And I'm like, have you met a short woman recently? Many of them are like little bulldogs. Like, I love them. And they make up for the size with like the personality. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, I don't know. But also the baby girling of Tuon will cease. Maybe it's just the fact that it's Tuon, and I'm like, and she's the tiny breakable Barbie baby. Like, please.
She's your SEC.
This is what I wrote.
She your SEC.
That's what I wrote because I'm making fun of this because it's just so pervasive and it's just making me.
Because
what?
I made it up.
What is
she
it?
your SEC?
What is that?
Your slaver eating crackers?
You know what? Yeah, I think it's that.
Yes.
I think it's the, like, until she shows me any kind of improvement as a person, I just can't stand her.
I understand.
So, but this is what, like, to me, this is how fantasy has been describing women lately. And it's no disrespect toward tiny women because you are all lovely and wonderful. It's just like the way that they describe it is driving me crazy. Mm-hmm. So she's a tiny breakable baby lady, so tiny and dainty, she'll slip in between the couch cushions and live with the pennies. God, stop it. Okay. And then I called her freaking Marcel the Shell with Tuon.
Oh, instead of shoes on?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Because, like, I don't know. It's just, it's the way that they're described bothers me.
Yeah, I get it.
Like, it's not that they're thin, whatever. It's the way in which it's like, oh my God, and that's so needed. Like, we wanted the thin, tiny, breakable doll baby. And I'm like, there's something about it that just icks
I get
me.
it.
Okay. Episode 1 of us not saving Moiraine.
Correct.
One-on has been spotted.
Correct.
As we talked about.
Chapter 11, A Hell in Madeira. Matt is not going to save Moiraine today. They're popping along, and Luca's like, don't talk about it. Don't talk about the ghosts. And Matt, we're going to make quick work of a lot of the plot stuff in this, because I feel like we've discussed a lot of it. Matt goes to see Tuon. She's like, I want to go to a dive bar. And he's like, no, that's a horrible idea.
Which, I get it.
Yeah.
But also, just the idea of a woman needing a man's permission to do anything once she's an adult is just like,
But Allie, it's a matriarchy.
It's a matriarchy. This is the most matriarchal matriarchy I've ever seen in my life.
And then Tom comes in. He's like, hey, what's up? And he goes, she wants to go to a dive bar. And he's like, oh, I can take you to a dive bar. And then he basically takes her.
I knew immediately it was a trick.
He basically takes her to Dave and Buster's. Like that's essentially what happens here.
What's that
Ski
game?
ball.
Ski ball.
Yeah. So they take Tuon to Dave and Buster's, and
play
she's
skee
like,
ball and win a stuffed animal.
Will there be a heroin deal taking place today? To the bartender.
And the bartender's like, this is Dave and Buster's.
This is how many? I don't think we have that behind the prize counter, ma'am.
All the people listening who are not from like the Midwest.
Dave and Buster's is at least a national chain. It's an arcade.
I had never heard of it until I moved to the Midwest.
There are many of them in California.
I'm sure there are.
Well.
It was something that I was just like, everyone was suddenly like, let's go to Dave and Buster's. And I'm like, what is that?
My timing is awkward, but we actually need to take an ad break, so we're going to do that.
This podcast is brought to you by Dave and Buster's.
It's not. Welcome back. All right, enjoy the dulcet stylings of the car outside.
I bet they can't hear it.
This microphone is weirdly sensitive.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, well, enjoy.
You want to pause and go back? We can find out. Hold on. They can kind of hear it. All right.
I couldn't, but your ears are better than mine.
And yet I have tinnitus.
I know. That's because they're so sensitive and wee. They're like little doll ears. They're so sweet and little. Oh my goodness. Like that's how I feel. And I'm like, she's a grown asshole. And I'm like, please.
Yeah, they realize that Matt's like, oh, it's not a dive bar. It's a Dave and Buster's. Okay, that'll work. And Tom...
Which I knew it was a trick the minute he was like, yeah, I got a place. I was like, he's not going to take her to an actual dive bar. He's going to take her, to Dave and Buster's.
Tom talks to, like, some guards, and he gets some information, and the guards are dicks. And what is the information he gets? We already talked about this a little bit.
Oh, fuck yeah. Because Tom kind of gives him an education on...
Yeah.
Did I do a bingo for this book?
You did, and I haven't looked at it in a minute, and I need to.
I just... Okay, whatever. That
was for last book, was Tom teaches Matt court stuff.
Yeah, I was like, didn't I have that?
That was for book 10.
Yeah, because I was just like, that feels... like what should happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is Tom's specific expertise, and it's about time Tom got a plot, because he's been a bit on ice for the past few books.
He has, yes.
So, yeah, he kind of teaches him, like, all right, so I had this conversation with the guards. This is how the conversation went. Matt's like, so you got a whole lot of nothing. And he went, actually, I got a whole lot of something.
I think it's funny, because Matt has all this knowledge and all this information. So he has, if I'm going to put it in D&D terms, his intelligence score is unbelievably high, but his wisdom seems to be very low, because outside of battle and certain things about history, he has very little application for a lot of the stuff he knows. You know?
Yeah.
Like, he understands everything about tactics and strategy and arraying the field, but, like, basics of how to get information or intelligence just doesn't really fly. I think that's kind of funny when you think of all the memories he has. Like, he knows what a hell is. He knows all this stuff about bars, when I'm like, well, you have only been out of the Two Rivers for 2 years, and you spent most of that time recovering from dagger sickness. So I assume most of this information is from other memories.
Possibly. But he's been around, and he's, like, had some time with his soldiers, and he's had time.
Yeah, that's true. The band, yeah.
You know, we haven't seen a lot of the traveling he's done.
That's true. It was mostly off page in book 6.
Yeah. So I feel like, you know, there's been time for him to also learn a thing or two.
Yeah, that's real.
You know? But I feel like, in addition to that, I think Tom is kind of exemplifying this cool thing that Karen Kilgariff shared on My Favorite Murder, where she was talking to her hairstylist, and her hairstylist, this, for some reason, this quote, like, lives in my head all the time. But the hairstylist was like, you know, what people talk about, they be about.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh. No, it's so true. Like, the things that people want to discuss, and you know, with those moments where people, like, light up or get really passionate or whatever, and you're like, oh, this really matters to you. I can tell a lot about you from, like, what...
The fact that,
what you're kind of gearing the conversation toward. And so I've been thinking about that a lot in the past few years. Just, like, what that kind of is. But I feel like Tom is kind of exemplifying that here. He's like, there's a lot that you can tell about somebody by what they say and don't say.
Yeah. Well, and specifically, like, he learns that they're chill with the Shanchan because they don't talk badly about them.
They don't talk badly about them. And they don't talk badly about the head governor of the guards that's, like, clearly working with them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's complicated. this issue. It isn't, and it shouldn't be, but like I get from a perspective of like we just went through a horrible trauma as a group, not wanting to necessarily poke that bear again.
Yeah.
Like that as a human instinct I get, but I'm like, then we gotta like move past that though and realize that like they're just gonna get more and more entrenched.
Yeah.
Like now is the time.
So they get to the hell. It's not a hell, but the logo is like a garter.
Okay.
And they loosen their 11,000 knives they have. And I love that bit every time it comes up, that both of them has like 75 knives on their person at any given time. And they go in, and there's a woman singing a song about how much she loves fucking. And I think that's great.
Good for her.
And genuinely, that's awesome. And Matt keeps thinking about how she's got nice boobs, kind of like Seleucia's.
But then he thinks to himself, like, but you shouldn't check out a woman in front of your future wife or in front of another woman. And I was like, that is true.
Yeah. And Tuon is like, this does not seem like a dive bar, man. Like, they have like a BMX bike racing video game over there. There's
animatronic characters in the corner.
There's skee ball. There's one of those like basketball hoop things that has tickets. There's a big Bertha over there. This feels like an arcade. And
like,
Tom
when
is
are
like,
people going to start stabbing each other?
This is a hell, all right.
And Tom tells Matt that she's more sheltered than he thinks she is.
Yes, she's very sheltered.
Here's the thing. I do feel like this is believable.
Yes.
Because I feel like champagne problems are still problems,
100%.
as you've said.
Yes.
Like, you can have this life in which, like, people are trying to kill you in a gilded palace, right? Like, I feel like people think that rich people don't have problems. And it's like, well, sometimes you have even more problems. Because money makes people fucking weird.
Yeah.
And power makes people fucking weird. You have different problems. But, like, I do believe that she doesn't know what an actual seedy hall looks like, because why would she ever need to go to one?
Well, there is a certain extent to which I'm like, if you're this intimate and familiar with assassination plots and backroom dealings, you've probably interfaced with the criminal class and, like, probably the seedier underside of it. But at the same time, yeah, no, I buy it.
But, like, a different criminal class, I feel like.
The people who hire the cutthroats.
Yeah.
That's what you're going for, yeah.
Yeah, Well, I mean, I feel like there's assassins and there's, like, muggers.
I get that,
Do you know what I mean? Like, assassins, I feel like that has, like, what I would think, like, a certain level of panache.
Yeah.
A certain level of prestige, right? Like, you wouldn't hire, like, some random cutthroat on the street to go after a princess. Like, because she's going to be surrounded by guards. They're looking for, like, the best of the best people to take out this woman,
I
right?
get that, yeah.
Like, so I feel like, yes, but also you be interfacing with people who are of a much more prestigious, court-barred versus
Gleeman.
Versus Gleeman.
So Tuon orders beer, and then she just starts, like, quizzing Matt on things. On, like, court intrigue, and Matt is like, I don't know. I know old stuff, but I don't know a lot. Anyway, they chat. They talk for quite a while. Any thoughts on any of this? The serving girl kind of flirts with Matt, and Matt does not respond, and Tuon is like, you could have flirted. Why didn't you flirt? And he's like, I'm not going to respond to that.
All right, that's a test, though.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, she's testing him. She's like, why didn't you flirt with her? And if he was like, you're right, I should have done that, she would have been mad.
Yeah.
I see your game, Tuon.
Any thoughts on, I mean, it's good character conversation for them.
Yeah,
I feel like there's not a ton to talk about that we haven't already talked about.
The thing about this chapter is it is, one, about Tuon, which I can't. But two, placed right after we get this information about Moiraine. So we're like, don't care.
Want to go do that.
Because otherwise I feel like it would actually be a very interesting chapter. But you're sitting there the whole time going, why aren't they doing anything about the Moiraine thing? Why are they just flirting over a game of dice?
Yeah, Matt goes to play dice, and this dude, what's his name? Vane?
Yeah,
like,
who
as soon
attacks
as Matt
him later.
starts rolling, Vane is like, I'm out of here. So I assume...
He must know something about Matt, then.
Yeah, I assume he's either a dark friend or he's in the employ of Suroth.
Which could be both.
Could be both, yeah.
Because it's Suroth, and we know she's a dark friend, so I feel like, he's working for her.
And we get another one of those Matt scenes where he wins 45 times, and then he loses critically when he has to.
Yeah.
And it's good.
Before people start, like, coming for him.
Those scenes are always fun. I feel like that's the second or third one we've had. They're always nice to read. They're good little diversions. And this merchant woman is like pretending to be shit-faced blotto drunk, but actually is probably totally sober.
Yeah.
Which is why Matt is like, oh, I have to lose. Because she's getting suspicious and she's going to accuse me of cheating.
Yeah, and then fists will start flying and Tuon will get to see the stabbing she so desperately wants.
Yeah. And
then she goes to the bathroom.
Yeah, she goes to the bathroom. Tom comes back and he's like, I got a shitload of information. What is the information he got?
The thing about the governor?
Golam is coming. No, the governor's
right.
Golam's following us. There's Shanshan army ahead of us, I believe. They're making everybody drink fork root and collaring anybody who gets wobbly.
So hypocritical.
They're looking for an imposter Tuon. And if they find her, they will kill her.
See, that sounds dumb.
Yeah.
Because how do they know it's not the real... Well, they don't know she's missing.
They don't seem to care either.
Well, they don't... Well, I know, because it's Surath, right?
Yeah.
So she's like, kill Tuon if you see her.
Yeah. Or like, hey, whoever this is, it's not really Tuon. They're like, great, it's not my fucking problem.
I'm getting paid.
I'm following orders.
Yeah. And they don't know she's missing.
Yeah.
So they think it's legit.
They think it's legit fake. And they make plans on how to leave, and then Tuon and Selucia get back, and they're like, hey, we gotta go. And then they go, and Matt thinks that she was so tiny, like a pretty doll. He knew it was easy to believe she would break if handled roughly, even though she's actually tough.
Well, and I know that the thing is like, and I know he's got lots of women with different. Well, but
you're not frustrated as much.
Does he? I mean, like the main women, it's all like they're short or
here's the thing.
Tiny.
I think, and this is one where I will genuinely say I think that this is a matter of the trope of the time. This one I will give that. Most people, unfortunately, were not actively thinking about like body positivity among the characters.
Obviously not.
So I'm not going to hold that against Robert Jordan. I do think that he very much goes for the sort of stereotypical body types on people.
Well, I feel like the conversation suddenly became like tiny women can still kick ass, and I feel like that was empowerment.
Yeah.
At the time,
yeah.
But now I'm reading it like constantly, and I'm just a little like
this is not a function of like you're upset with the thing being you're just like this is something you have currently been inundated with by dint of what else you are reading and also here, and you're frustrated with how often you have been reading it specifically.
Yes, which is why I'm just I don't have a problem with thin or tiny women or being included in my literature. I'm just like there feels like there is a trend, and then it kind of feels like the protagonists only get to be one body type.
Yeah, I get that.
And you know how like Taylor Swift goes like, sometimes I feel like everybody is a sexy baby and I'm a monster on the hill.
Yeah.
And you were like, what does that even mean when you heard that song for the first time?
Well, it's a funny lyric.
And I said, when you are a taller or more muscular woman, you absolutely know how that feels.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, I am not the like tiny svelte little doll thing that, people have uplifted and valued. And so am I just like this like monstrous weirdo? And there is that feeling of like not fitting that type. You know what I mean? And obviously thin shaming is also real, and that's a real thing, and like respect and all that stuff. I'm not shaming other women for having bodies. I'm just like, can we have like celebrate also full-bodied women who are muscular, like can we all be protagonists and not and love interests and not just these like tiny dainty short women?
Yeah, I get that.
But also tiny dainty short women can totally kick ass, and I'm very in support of that. It's just like when it's book after book after book, it feels like whoa. And Robert Jordan obviously had more diverse body types, but among his like main women, they're all kind
of
the
love interest ones.
And the love interest ones in particular, they all kind of fit one particular body type.
For the most, Aviend, well,
like she's muscular,
but she's lean muscular.
Yeah, exactly. They get to be lean muscular.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I get it.
And it's like not all women.
You want Karlach. What you're saying is you want Karlach.
Is it too much to ask?
You want
for Mommy Karlach to show up?
Who is even Karlach is fairly lean, like she's built, but the character model definitely still trends. We're talking about Baldur's Gate now. Definitely trends.
But I love like a Brienne of Tarth. Like I love a like a Starbuck.
Yeah.
Where like, I mean,
Starbucks.
Yeah, she's pretty thin,
Yeah.
but but Katie Sackhoff is pretty like she's got guns.
She's jacked.
You know what I mean? Like I would not describe her as like a tiny baby Barbie doll.
In the first Malazan book, pretty early on, you meet this mage named Tattersail, and she is a plus-sized warlock woman who is very horny, and everybody is like, God damn, Tattersail is hot.
Yeah. I just,
And she unrepentantly loves fucking.
I just feel like there are a lot of different kinds of badass and hot women out there. And the hyperfixation on this one type of woman starts to cock my head a little bit.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're inundated.
She's living with the pennies.
So, anyway.
Like, it's also just the way they describe them. That bothers me. I'm like, it would bother me as a short woman to be like, look, cute and short jeans all the time. All the time? Like, yes, but also all the time?
Matt brings Tuon up to speed. He's like, must be one of my sisters. This is fun. All right, whatever. And he goes, this is not whatever. And she goes, no, it really is. This is day to day for me. This is not a big deal. And notably, Selucia goes, this plot could be dealt with easily if the High Lady were in the Terrasan Palace where she belongs. Oh, Tuon's face became as chill as that of an executioner. But she rounded on her maid, fingers flashing so furiously that they should have been striking sparks. And then Selucia gets chastened because she should not have brought anything up about this, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
There was also a line earlier that I love where he comes back to the table and he looks at Tuon and he thinks, hang all the prisoners. Because, like, every time he looks at her, she's like, God, you just, like, very serious person. Which I think is kind of funny.
She thinks about him?
No. Every time he looks at her, he's like, oh, geez, Zoe, okay. Bring in the heads. Death to all.
She is kind of a lot.
She's kind of a lot.
Yeah. I do agree with that. She's kind of a lot.
So, anyway, then the assassins
need her to
come.
Stop calling him Toy immediately.
And he goes, run, Tuon! Tom, get her away from here! And there's a cool fight, and it's a very cool fight. And then Matt is like, I won't kill a woman. And we go, okay.
I mean,
I get it.
In any other context.
Yeah.
In any other context, 100%. In this particular context, stab her. Like,
and then
please.
Tuon is like, you fucking idiot.
Thank you.
And she kills.
Oh, God. The worst person
woman.
you know just made a great point.
And Tom and Selucia were standing a little down the street in front of the reason Tuon was still there. Better than half a dozen bodies sprawled on the paving stones. Tom had a knife in either hand and was allowing Selucia to examine a wound on his ribs through the rent in his coat. Oddly, by evidence of the dark glistening patches on his coat, he seemed to have fewer injuries than Matt. Matt wondered whether Tuon had taken part there, too, but he could not see a spot of blood on her anywhere. Selucia had a bloody gash down her left arm, though it appeared not to hinder her. I'm an old man, Tom said suddenly, and sometimes I imagine I see things that can't be, but luckily I always forget them. Selucia paused to look up at him coolly. Lady's maid she might be, but blood seemed not to faze her at all. And what might you be trying to forget? I can't recall, Tom replied.
So Selucia is a badass.
Selucia's a badass. And Tom is like, there is a reason that you have not made that public.
I do like Selucia.
Now,
but I don't like that she's into the slavery.
Does this section make me ship Selucia and Tom a little bit?
Like, kind of.
Like, kind of does.
Like, kind of.
Secret assassin badasses?
Secret lover.
Yes, she has the same problems as Tuon, but also, I don't know, man. A little bit.
At the same time, I think canonically, or at least head canonically, people think of her as a lesbian.
I don't know.
So I don't.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll take it.
That's what I thought. I've seen this.
People have a lot of headcanons, and I love them.
We love the
headcanons are great.
But this was a moment where I was like, this could be a good, like, hey, moment for them. But we all know that he's interested in Moiraine. Well, I mean, do we know that? Because they had like
my
2
dearest
seconds.
Tom. You're pretty certain of that.
I was certain of it. I'm certain of it, yeah. But I'm also like, will they develop that relationship at all?
Or will it just, if they get back together, be like, let's get fucking married?
That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
Raffo.
I'm prepared.
So Tuon sees the woman who has had her throat crushed because Tuon crushed her throat and is like,
oh, and she's watching her die.
Well, better speed this up, and stabs her in the heart.
And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that is the right thing to do in that situation.
A mercy she did not deserve, but I see no point to needless suffering. I won, Toy. You won? What are you talking about? You used my name before I used yours. So I won. And he's like, this is a lot. This is a lot. You're tough as nails. This is a lot. Anyway, probably we should leave. And then he looks down and he goes, oh shit, that was Vane, the very good-natured, well-born merchant.
Not so good-natured now.
We have to fucking flee immediately because we killed like a well-to-do merchant and nobody's gonna buy it. So we're gonna abandon the circus. Remember the circus?
Yeah.
Guess we're fucking done with them.
No, we're not.
Raffo.
Robert loves the circus.
He loves the circus, and so do I.
And you know what? I do too.
I actually really like the circus.
I like the circus.
Like, we bitched about it last week, but also, I kind of love the circus.
Listen, are we coming back? Are we back in the game, baby?
Maybe.
We might be back in the game.
So,
because you know what? This chapter was fun.
So, you're right, I've changed my mind, and that's the end of chapter 11. Chapter 12, Allie.
Beetles.
Beetle Boy. It's called
Beetle
a manufactory. Do you have notes for chapter 12? I gotta sit up.
And we do actually have to, like, jet.
We do have to, like, finish this recording soon because we have a wedding.
But I do feel like we gave the Beatles their due.
We talked about the Beatles. I did Beetle math.
Yeah, I feel like...
For, like, 10 minutes.
I feel like we did give the Beatles their due.
And I love the Beatles, and now we just get to talk about Perrin being like, yeah, man turned into 1,086,000 Beatles. And
my wife is still missing.
None of those Beatles was my wife. If my wife turned into a beetle, I would still love her. I would put her in a terrarium and carry it around with me.
I feel like Perrin is like one of the few men where I'm like, that's a wife guy. He actually earns that title, and I don't think he's going to cheat on her.
No.
That's a wife guy right there. Say what you want about Perrin, that's what I said. But this is the energy you would want from your husband if you were kidnapped. Full on Liam Neeson shit.
Yep.
Fucking Beetlejuice over here.
Oh, God, I love it. I love Beetle Boy so much.
Because of Beetles and he's juice.
Yes.
I was mid-bite.
She was eating fajitas.
I was mid-fajita when I read that part, and I nearly upchucked fajita.
Yeah.
I nearly upchucked that chicken.
Yeah.
The chicken was nearly chucked.
Just like the man with the Beatles.
I suppose he never saw yellow eyes on a man before. Yeah, Perrin. He's concerned you may have jaundice, sir, since that's the only appropriate reason to have yellow eyes that he knows of. And the Beatles came spewing out of his mouth. Oh, yeah, I tell you something. I think you'll understand. Anyway. That sent a jolt of pain down his arm. Perrin has fibro confirmed.
He might. Chapter 12, Beetle Boy. This is the chapter logo. What is it?
It's a wolf.
Is a wolf. Perrin chapter. He's back again with the Beatles. And he's going to do some errands. This is an errand chap. An errand chap and a Perrin chap.
An errand chap. We have not had many of them.
No, a Perrin chap. He's going to meet with some people.
It's the Shan-Chan, right?
It's the Shan-Chan. It's multiple. Well, like, it's funny because he keeps on, like, staring at other people and scowling, and Ty Lee and Mishima are like, are you good? And he's like, It's been 51 days. It's been 51 days since my wife was taken from me. I don't know the rest of this song, but... yeah.
Could you imagine if I just improv'd out that, like, whole...
I would be...
No, I'm not talented like that.
You are.
I'm not like that.
So, Perrin, Ty Lee is like... Because Perrin's glaring at the Tuatha because there's a shitload of them.
Yeah.
And she goes, you study the Tuatha and frown, my lord. You've had problems with them in your lands. My sinuses have become completely full while we're doing it. I'm totally stuffed up. I don't know why.
It's that hotel thing.
Yeah.
Why does that happen in
hotels? I don't
hotels?
know. We have nothing like them at home, but the only trouble connected to them I know of has been locals trying to drive them away. Apparently they're supposed to be great thieves. And... Neild is like, they just steal chickens. Who cares? It's whatever. And Balwer is like, we're being racist today. And then Perrin is like, actually, they're fucking great. They take care of people. They offered me shelter.
Perrin is giving ally right now.
He is.
Thank you, Perrin.
What I remember best about them was when Trollocs surrounded Emmons Field. The Tuathan stood on the... And he relays the thing, and Neild is like, okay, well, that's better than stealing chickens.
I have never said a bad thing about Perrin.
And Balwer is like, hell yeah. You have developed thoughts about at least one thing.
Hey.
And Tylee goes...
Just because it takes him a while doesn't mean that it's not any less valid.
Tylee goes, I think your life might make a story. Perrin goes, I'd rather my life were ordinary.
Oh, it's going to be a story.
It is currently a story.
Robert Jordan loves to do that little wink, wink, nod, nod.
This is also when my dad loves Perrin. By the way, he's like, Perrin just wants...
Perrin here.
Oh, no, listen, we shit on Perrin constantly. However...
I've never said a bad thing about Perrin in my life.
My dad's thing about Perrin is he's like, he just wants to go home and like hammer his forge and hang out with his wife and, you know.
And he finds that relatable. And I also find that relatable.
I just think he's just a guy. He just wants to go home. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right.
And listen, is that relatable?
Yeah,
100%. 100%. All I ever want to do when I'm out at a thing, I'm mad I'm not home in my jammies with my husband and my dog playing Baldur's Gate. But like, here's the thing. We're in the apocalypse. So we also, if we want to go home, we got to get some stuff done first.
Yeah. And Mishima goes, one day I'd very much like to see some of these Trollocs I keep hearing about. Perrin goes, no, you wouldn't. You get your chance sooner or late, but you won't like it. Anyway, so I wanted to read all that.
That's real, Perrin.
They go to
Perrin set really was like, I'm traumatized.
Yeah.
Please stop.
They go to the Racken grounds, and Midore is the woman in charge of the Racken, and...
She hasn't earned a name for me yet. That is Sean Chan.
And they go and talk to Sean Chan, and... They're like, hey, I'm going to skip through a lot of this because...
We kind of covered it.
We kind of covered it, and like a lot of the stuff with the Sean Chan here is like they're running errands. Notably, thank you, Robert, we did skip the 3 days of discussion, which ultimately ended with Tylee going, fine, we'll do your plan.
Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God.
But like, again, Perrin like looks at the Racken and thinks about Fael and gets angry and like grips his hammer. And Tylee is like, you gonna try to go and murder a Racken, bro? Because like, that's a bad idea. And he's like, it's been 51 days. I'm angry. And I love this.
And I love the energy that he knows how long it's been.
Yeah, because he's been trauma knotting. So,
oh yeah, he's been doing the knots.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he goes...
Weird that both series that we've read on this podcast have had trauma knots.
Yes. So he goes to the people and he's like, hey, I need some Racken, and there's a guy coughing, and this guy, Blasik Falloon, Banner General, comes up.
Blasik Falloon.
Yeah. And he goes, how may I serve you? And Tylee goes, Captain Falloon, we need to speak in... Tylee cut off when the man who was coughing surged to his feet, his stool toppling with a clatter. Now I have to read this.
Of course.
Clutching his middle, the young man doubled over and vomited a dark stream that hit the floor and broke up into tiny black beetles that went scurrying in every direction.
I was literally mid-bite when that happened.
Someone cursed shockingly loud in what was otherwise dead silence. The young man stared at the beetles.
If someone throws up beetles in front of me, I would not be quiet.
The young man stared at the beetles in horror, shaking his head to deny them.
Aww.
Wild-eyed, he looked around the room, still shaking his head, and opened his mouth as if to speak. Instead, he bent over and spewed another black stream, longer, that broke into beetles darting across the floor. The skin of his face began writhing, as though more beetles were crawling on the outside of his skull. A woman screamed, a long shriek of dread, and suddenly clerks were shouting and leaping up, knocking over stools and even tables in their haste, frantically dodging the flitting black shapes. Again and again the man vomited, sinking to his knees.
Well, yeah, 'cause you don't know if they're just regular beetles.
Or if it's catching.
Or if they will eat you.
Yeah. Then falling over, twitching disjointedly as he spewed out more and more beetles in a steady stream. He seemed somehow to be getting flatter.
Ew.
Deflating. His jerking ceased, but black beetles continued to pour from his gaping mouth and spread across the floor. At last, it seemed to have gone on for an hour, but could not have been more than a minute or two. At last, the torrent of insects dwindled and died. What remained of the fellow was a pale flat thing inside his clothes, like a wineskin that had been emptied.
Ew. Description, Robert.
And
really good description, Robert.
Falloon goes, I heard a rumor. From east to hear only that was centipedes. Little black centipedes.
And they were just chastising him for talking about rumors. And I'm like, okay, that would be really vindicating for me.
Perrin crushed the beetles under his boot. They made the hair on the back of his neck want to stand, but nothing mattered except Payable. Nothing. They're just borer.
I'm so into that.
There's just borer beetles. You can find them almost anywhere there's old fallen timber. The man jerked, lifted his gaze, and jerked again when he saw Perrin's eyes. These beetles came from no log. They're soul blinders' work. That's as may be.
Is that the dark one?
Yes.
Yeah.
It makes no difference. They can be killed, and I have no time to waste on beetles I can crush underfoot. I love this. It's fucking hilarious.
He's just like, whatever,
He's
guy.
like, yeah, okay. Is this your first time? Is this your first apocalypse?
Is this your first bubble of evil, friend?
I got attacked by an axe.
Yeah. My friend got attacked by himself.
Then a buxom woman started harassing me, and I can't tell you which one was worse.
I've been going through a lot lately.
Yeah.
One beetle spew is not going to deter me.
So,
and you know what? Valid.
Yeah. So...
But this, like, Robert Jordan put his
great.
whole...
Listen, he's very good at the horror stuff. Like, we joke about the bubbles of evil, but the bubbles of evil in this book
have been really
creepy.
Delivering.
Yeah. So,
I'm proud of him.
I did have a thought, though, about the way that bubbles of evil will sometimes just pick certain people to die.
Yeah.
Where I'm like,
sure.
This is quite interesting when you think of the fact that the Ta'veren can't have this happen to them. Because it ties into, like, Robert Jordan describes himself as a libertarian monarchist. You know?
What is that?
It is some words he put together. And I think it's fascinating that, like, he's totally down to have bubbles of evil just like...
I'm a democratic dictatorship. You know what I mean? Like,
he's totally down to have bubbles of evil just, like, end given people's lives because I guess they're, like, not important. Right? Does that make sense?
I guess.
Because that's a thing where...
there's like a butterfly flaps its wings.
Right, but I think it's interesting because I was thinking about this and I was thinking about Ta'veren because, like, Ta'veren is one of those things where every writer who is not Robert Jordan smacked their forehead and went, God damn it. But at the same time, it also a little bit fucks him because it means that Perrin, Matt, and Rand basically can't be in danger. Bad things can happen... But if the plot needs them to continue and it's ordained by the plot, I feel like there's also a little bit of like, oh, well, I know it's going to turn out okay.
But I think he kind of prepared for that by saying, but stuff can happen to people around me.
Yeah. Well, that's what this is.
Like whole cities can die.
That's true. That's real. Yeah. No, you're right. I just think it's interesting because there's this element whereby he's got these like important folk that have been elevated beyond the point of being in danger from this stuff, although they will have to fight it, and I guess they could lose. But I don't know. Ta'veren is one of those things that I can't stop thinking about.
Like whether it's a device that's helpful or a hindrance?
Because it is helpful for sure.
Definitely.
But I feel like there are also elements of it that, like later this chapter, Perrin twists and isn't shot by an arrow, you know?
Yeah, and I'm glad that the horse made it.
Yeah,
because when he said horse behind him screamed, I was like, not the horse. I know this is stupid, but I get sad about the horse.
No, I get it. The horse didn't have to be there. Horse didn't sign up.
The horse didn't sign up for this. Yeah. Like they're just there because they're there, and that makes me sad.
Yeah. Anyway, I love Beetle Boy. It's one of my favorite sections. Do you have any thoughts on any of this?
I mean. It's a lot of fucking beetles.
It's a lot of beetles. Probably 1.08 million beetles.
I actually have respect for the people who just stood on the tables. I would have been out of there so fast. So fast. Like, I would have been a cartoon. Like, my body shape would have been in the wall. I've been out of there. There's no way I'm fucking with that. Whatever's coming, I'm a runner. I'm a track star. I will leave immediately.
So they ask for 6 Rackin, and she's like, they're kind of tied up with something. What are they tied up with? This is from the prologue.
What are they tied up with?
What are the Rackin used for right now? Where is most of the Air Force? Suroth was like, fuck this Rodel Ituralda guy. I'm going to send the entire Air Force to fuck him up.
Which is not going to work out. I mean, Suroth is an idiot.
So, yeah. Tylee demands 4 Rackin. And they show the order. And anyway, so they get the Rackin. I feel like there's not a lot to talk about here. It's mostly plot. Do you have anything to say about any of this?
No.
Okay. Anyway, next they go to the manufactory of fork root.
Yeah, gotta get that. Got to get that tea going.
Before that, though, the Ch11-12 are like, hey, did a dude turn into beetles? Because, like, we heard a guy turned into beetles, and Perrin is like, yeah, man, but, like, it's good because it wasn't Fael, so who cares? They're just beetles. And they're like, oh, you're, like, committed. All right.
I would hope so.
Okay, sure. We'll go with that. That's great. Sure. Okay. I guess I will not worry about the fact that a man vomited beetles until
Perrin's
he deflated.
going to kill Roland, man. And I'm going to be okay with it. Really okay with it. Because he creeps me out.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. And then it's going to be weird because Fael's going to have weird, complicated feelings where I'm going to be like, Robert, no, please.
You know what would have been fun? Is if we'd been with Roland from, like, if we'd had a runner of Roland from Al-Khair Dal to now.
That would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
Like check-ins during the prologue or whatever, where we're checking in with everybody.
Yeah, and like he was our touchstone to the Shido, and he was our human element to the Shido.
That would have been cool.
Right? This is my thing. I've discussed this before. I feel, and this is going to sound insane, I think the Wheel of Time would have benefited from having more POV characters, or rather more POV characters that we spend more time with.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
I love the way it is, but I also think it would have been really interesting, you know, to like see Demise Wells. Say Roland was at Demise Wells. See
very
Demise
well
Wells from Roland's perspective.
We did see it from Savannah's.
But Savannah was not in the. She was like back there.
That's true.
And she was a leader, and she was not getting ground up.
I feel like that would have been rough.
Yeah.
He's like, "There's my best friend in the meat grinder."
Yeah.
Yikes.
I've been reading a lot of Malazan lately, so that's just kind of the way my brain is
Well, I
geared.
also feel like, because I don't trust Roland, I don't trust his motives.
No.
I feel like he is kind of taking advantage of Fael.
Sure. I mean, yeah, kind
And
of.
it's freaking me out.
Kind of very.
I'm like, maybe if we got to know him a little bit better, he wouldn't be someone who just makes me really freaked out.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, there's something about how he's like, because I don't think it's coming from the good of his heart. I don't think he would do this for Fael if he didn't think she was hot.
No.
This is not, because he keeps being like, you can cheat on your husband.
Yeah, that's kind of the through line thing
okay.
is he's like, could hook up. I'm not going to make you, but like we could.
And that's to me like such a red flag.
Yeah.
And the massaging her naked thing was just, I know he was keeping her warm.
I know.
Yeah, I'm okay with Perrin killing Roland. Very cool with
We'll see
it.
if it happens. So anyway.
Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
They go to this manufactory, and Ty Lee is like, this is going to be harder because this is a imperial functionary instead of a general. I'm skipping a lot of stuff. Is there anything else you want to talk about that I'm skipping? Just unfortunately, we do have to get to a wedding fairly soon. I spent 15 minutes doing Beetle math.
I think we spent a lot of time on it.
Yeah.
Already.
So they go to the thing, and they're gonna talk to the woman in charge, and she's got three leaves, 3 hands on her dress, which means she's some kind of high-ranking official.
Okay.
And
a lot of hands. Band of the red hand. Rand's probably gonna lose a hand.
Ty Lee goes, hey, I need fork root. She's like, oh, do you? Well, unfortunately for you, I have my own petty kingdom here, and I think you can go fuck yourself. I'm going to keep my fork root because I need to do stuff for the Empress.
That seems unreasonable of you. I'm just kidding.
And, get fucked. And Perrin shows her the letter.
Perrin's like, I will give you Manetheren.
Hey, do you have any interest in Manetheren? Perrin gives her the letter.
This Zillow listing is free.
And, Ty Lee keeps on trying to, maneuver things. And then Perrin just goes, Banner General, to Ty Lee. This may not interest the Honorable, which is what they call the woman, of course. But Suroth promised death and worse if there was any hindrance in her plans. I don't suppose her anger will go beyond you and me, but she did say to take it all. And the woman freaks the fuck out. And is like, oh, Joe, okay. Yeah, you can have it. Sorry. And Ty Lee goes up to Perrin as they're leaving and is like, good gambit, bro. And he was like, well, nobody likes being threatened with death. And she's like, that was not the gambit. Are you serious? Are you this bad at Shanchan? And Perrin is like, yeah, of course I fucking am. I'm not engaging with your shit culture. I don't want to know, what to do. I hate you guys. He doesn't actually think this. But
I do.
But she goes, no, dude. The gambit was not that you brought up that she might die. What was the gambit?
That Suroth would be mad at her.
That would be Suroth. What about that?
That Suroth would kill her.
The gambit was calling her Suroth instead of the High Lady.
Oh, so it's like I'm
either a fucking idiot or I'm one of her closest confidants. And luckily, the Honorable was like, oh, he must be one of her closest confidants. When in reality, with respect to
Perrin
Seanchan goings-on...
just fails upward constantly.
He rolled a nat 20. Again, Baldur's Gate references. I know it's D&D, whatever. Baldur's Gate references everywhere. He rolled a persuasion check, got a 20.
Being Taviran, it must be like that one day where I could not stop rolling nat 20s in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, it is literally that.
I could not stop. There was one day, and now I can't get above a 10.
His intelligence modifier for this is like -4. He's rolling at disadvantage. He's got I don't know what else. You can't have like a minus to a given skill check apart from your DC.
You
whatever
nerd.
Yeah. Well, I did Beetle math for 15 minutes earlier.
So and the title of this episode is Beetle math.
Yeah, he rolled 2 fucking 20s and was like, okay, well, I tell her that Surath will kill her if it doesn't work out. And the DM was like, okay, well, I guess because you use Surath's name, she recognizes that you must be friends with her.
The DM is like, God damn it.
Fuck, 2 20s? God damn it. So
2 20s?
Yeah, so Perrin clutches this out by accident, probably Taviran. God bless him. Love it, love it, love it. And
then he gets shot at. So he rolls a 2 nat 20s, and then he rolls a 10.
It's funny because
he lives.
Well, it's weird because Tylee goes, tell me if the question does not offend. Did your lady bring powerful connections or perhaps great lands? And Perrin is so surprised by this question that he turns around suddenly, which causes the arrow to hit him in the arm. I don't know what it is about this question that makes him so surprised.
Say the question again.
Tell me, if the question does not offend, did your lady bring powerful connections, or perhaps great lands? About Fail, I think.
He just heard your lady and just was like...
Where?
Where? Yeah, exactly.
He gets shot in the arm, and it all works out fine. The horse is fine. Perrin's fine.
He's just psyched at the opportunity to talk about his wife.
Yeah.
People don't ask him about her enough.
Nield comes out, arms akimbo, ready to blast fire, and Perrin's like, dog, we are in public. Let's not.
In front of the Seanchan.
In front of the Seanchan. Let's not. I know they know you can do this. We've cleared it with Tylee.
But it's not a great look.
It's not awesome. And the men have poisoned themselves, and they're gonna go to an inn, and...
What men have poisoned themselves?
The guys who shot at Perrin and missed.
Oh, yeah. And then they jumped off a building, which seems like overkill.
Yeah, and Perrin is like, must be the Forsaken. I assume it is the Forsaken.
It's gotta be.
Yeah. And then that's the end of Chapter 12.
Or Surath, but why? No.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We have social media if you want to know what we've got going on. It's linked down below. We also have a Patreon if you want to support us that way. It's patreon.com/wheeltakes, and you can always leave us a rating or a review, which helps a lot. Other than that, anything else, Allie?
Beetle math, 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 Beetle math.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.